All right, let's get into a topic that can be really, really tough to even think about family. We're always told that family is everything, that it's forever. But what happens when those ties start to feel more like binds, costing you your peace of mind? Today, we're going to look at the psychological signs, the real signals that it might be time to step back and create some distance for your own mental health. So, let me ask you something straight up. Do you ever feel like you have to perform? Like you have to constantly be useful or prove your worth just to feel like you belong in your own family? That feeling that the love you get isn't just a given, it's something you have to earn? If that question just hit you in the gut, I really want you to hear this. That feeling is not a flaw in you. Not at all. Psychology actually tells us it's a massive signal that the dynamic you're in is unhealthy. Your intuition is screaming that something is wrong, even if you've been taught your whole life to just ignore it. So let's break down these signals. Okay, first up, and this one is absolutely huge. It's when personal boundaries just don't exist. I mean, boundaries are the bedrock of respect in any relationship, and when they're gone, everything else just starts to fall apart. And we need to be really clear about what this means. A boundary violation isn't just a simple misunderstanding that happens once. No, it's a pattern. It's when you say, hey, please don't comment on my body, or I really can't talk after 9 p.m., and they just do it anyway, over and over again. That's not a mistake, that's disrespect. And the toll this takes is real. When your limits are constantly ignored, your brain basically never gets to switch off. You're always on edge, always waiting for that next invasive question, that next passive-aggressive comment. You're living in a constant state of defense, and that leads straight to chronic stress and just feeling completely drained. All right, let's talk about sign number 2. Now, this one is a lot more subtle, but it is so, so powerful. It's when guilt stops being a normal human emotion and starts being used like a weapon. This is emotional manipulation 101. It's that crazy-making situation where they do something that hurts you, but somehow, by the end of it all, you're the one apologizing. They make their feelings your job to manage. It's designed to make you feel confused, to doubt yourself, and to even question what really happened. Let's just call this what it is. This quote from our source material absolutely nails it. Healthy relationships, loving relationships, they're built on mutual respect. When someone is constantly using your own feelings against you to get their way, that's not love. It's not friendship. It's control, plain and simple. Okay, sign number 3. This one is often a feeling before it's a clear thought. It's that slow, sinking realization that you are doing all, and I mean all, of the work in the relationship. This chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? In a healthy relationship, there's a give and take. But in a one-sided one, you're always the one reaching out first. You're always the one who has to be understanding. You're always the one trying to smooth things over and fix things. You're the emotional janitor, but who's cleaning up for you? And you know where this leads, right? It's just not sustainable. You can't be the only power source in a relationship forever. Eventually, that battery is going to die. All that giving with nothing coming back doesn't just make you tired, it builds this deep, quiet resentment that eventually leads to total burnout. So, this brings us to the million-dollar question. If these signs are so obvious and so damaging, why on earth do we put up with it? Why do we stay, especially when it's family? Well, the answer almost always goes way back. For so many of us, these are survival skills we learned as kids. If you grew up feeling like love was something you had to earn, then you learned that being useful or being the easy one was how you stayed safe and connected. You learned to swallow your own needs so you wouldn't be a burden. So please, hear this loud and clear. It is not your fault. Tolerating this kind of behavior isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of how incredibly resilient you were in a tough situation. It's a pattern you learned to survive. But the good news is, any pattern that can be learned can also be unlearned. And that brings us to the real turning point here. It's about shifting your mindset from just surviving to actually thriving. This isn't about revenge or punishment. This is about making a conscious, powerful choice to finally protect yourself. And here's the hard truth, and it can be a tough one to swallow. If you've tried talking, if you've explained how you feel and nothing changes, then staying in that cycle is a choice. It's you accepting on some level that this is just how it's going to be forever. There's actually a name for what happens when you hit that wall. It's called a boundary awakening. It's that aha moment, that breaking point where you finally realize that creating distance isn't a mean or aggressive thing to do. It's a necessary, life-saving act of self-preservation. And look, this isn't about just blowing things up overnight. It's a process. You take the high road. You communicate clearly. You give them a chance to change. But if they can't or won't, then you start to limit your access. Less time, less personal information. And if that still isn't enough, creating real distance becomes the final, essential step for your own peace. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a really powerful idea, a sort of compass to help you navigate these really difficult waters. Just let that sink in for a second. Peace is more important than history. Just because you've known someone your whole life, just because you share blood, does not give them a free pass to destroy your mental well-being. Your peace, right now, today, is more valuable than your shared past. And remember, this is a health decision. It's not an angry one. It's like deciding to quit smoking or to start eating better. It's a calm, logical choice to remove a source of chronic stress from your life because you're finally taking your mental health as seriously as your physical health. So, I'll leave you with this one last question to think about. What is your mental health worth to you? What is your peace worth? Answering that question, really answering it for yourself, can give you all the clarity and all the courage you need to make a change.